Yo, what's up, guys? It's Andrew from travelingguitarist.com. Today I'm talking to you about whether or not guitar strings can be reused, and the answer is yeah, they can be reused. But unfortunately, when you reuse them, they're never going to sound nearly as good as they once did. So, not only is the string going to sound poor, but it's also going to be compromised structurally, and therefore it's going to be more likely to break after a few more weeks of using it. Um, with that said, reusing one guitar string at a time I think is a good move. Like, for instance, if you just have one set, you break a string and you have an old one sitting around, I think it's worth reusing it. Just either you can use the two methods that I'm going to discuss in a moment to clean them and to reuse it, or you can just go out and buy a new one. Most guitar shops and instrument stores, they actually sell individual guitar strings nowadays. So, I mean, frankly, man, like, you really don't need to be doing this kind of thing, but let's say you're in a rush, or you're at a gig or whatever, then it's definitely worth just reusing an old one. But for the most part, excuse me, here in Canada, I mean, a pack of Ernie ball strings is like $7. So I imagine in the US it's probably even less. Maybe it's like $5. I know here in Canada as well, you can get an Elixir brand which has the anti-rust coating on them. You can get those for about 12, maybe $14. Um, I think the Elixir brand are definitely worth it. They last a really long time. They last probably three times as long. Sorry, I have a bit of a cold. Moreover, I mean, you can buy actually a pack of five set guitar strings from Diodario and other brands, and it might cost you, 30 to $40, which means that you have five sets of strings for the remainder of the year, really. So I mean, it's really not costing you a ton of money. Furthermore, every bag of guitar strings comes in a vacuum sealed bag, so you don't have to worry about them, losing freshness unless you pull them out of the bag. In that case, you can just put them in a in a Ziploc bag, and they should stay good. Um, what else should I say here? Yeah, I mean, old guitar strings they sound bad for a number of reasons. I mean, not only do they sound dull and lifeless, but they just sound terrible. In my personal experience, and I've never actually heard many people I've never heard many people say this, but I find that they cause other weird problems. Like, they have this wobbly sound to them, especially on the higher E string and the B string. Around the 12th to 17th fret, it gets like this weird wobble to it, and it sounds horrendous. It sounds terrible. So I mean, I usually just replace them every 2 months or so. And as I talked about before, you can actually make your guitar strings last longer by doing a few different things, including, washing your hands with soap and water before each use, wiping them off with a microfiber cloth after you're done playing, using anti-rust strings like Elixir, string conditioners, or you can actually take it to the next step and get a humidifier, which keeps your apartment or your living space at the optimal humidity range, which is usually 40 to 60%. Um, Now, let's say that you really, really do want to reuse them. You don't want to spend any money at all because you're that frugal. Um, so what you want to do then, you can actually boil them. You can take all of them off, wrap them up together, put them in boiling water for about maybe 15 minutes. And what that does is it causes them to expand, and then it releases all the oils and the gunk and all the dirt that's been stuck in the little crevices of the strings. After that, you can take them, put it in an aluminum foil, and then put them in the oven for maybe 15 minutes. I've actually never put them in the oven before. I got this idea from another guy, and he said it's all good, but I don't know. Try at your own risk. He says that if you wrap them in foil and you put them at low heat for 15 minutes, that's about enough to dry them. Moreover, if it's good to wipe them off anyway and dry them, because you don't want them to sit there and you don't want them to sit there sopping wet, which is gonna rust the inner core and compromise uh, the nickel plated steel that's around the inner core wire. Another thing that you can do is you can go to Amazon or your local tool store and get some super fine wool, and you can use the super fine wool to just scrape off all the gunk off the string. What you do is you just grab the super fine wool, take your string, you just wrap it around it like that, and you just pull it down. You get all that gunk off it. Make sure you do it somewhere where you can clean up after, because it's really is sick. Like, it's crazy how much your guitar strings pick up. Like, they pick up mad dirt and grime. Um, but in conclusion, I just buy strings, man. I buy the 5 pack of strings, and then I used to get elixir strings all the time. I think I might actually start doing that again. Kind of convince myself just by writing this article. Um, but yeah, just go out and buy a five pack, and if you really want to save money, you can boil them or wipe them off with the superfine wool. But yeah, I mean that's all for this video. I hope this was helpful for you. I'm really stuttering today. But anyway, have a nice day, and I'll see you in the next video.